guys, welcome back to Strong Successful Male. So for today, I'm going to go over an email that was sent from a subscriber. This is from a guy, he is 27 years old, he's from over in Africa, and he's writing in and shares his story how a couple of years ago when he was 25, he met a gal, a nurse, who he really thought was something special, had a great thing going with as a girlfriend, and then, guess what, he lost his job. Or shall I say his income started dwindling, and that's when her true colors came out. And let's just say it didn't go too well when those true colors came out. And what are those true colors? Well, I'll let you see in the video. However, after some obvious turmoil and problems, our guy got rid of her and got his life back together and is now kicking butt, and he's going for his goals, recently going for a PhD, and take a wild guess who now wants him back. Imagine that, when things are going great for him. When things are tough, they're not interested, but when things are going great, then they want you. And our guy's having the last laugh on multiple fronts here in his life. I've been going to go over here, guys, to show you that, guess what? The same things I talk about that men and women do over here in the West, I know I pretty much cover stories from the US of A, happen in other parts of the world, in different cultures, and in this situation, over in Africa, the same things, including with nurses. And how, guys, you just have to, as per always, pay attention to red flags. You need to really spend years with your girl before you ever get really serious with her, let alone marrying her, because in situations like this, like a job loss or other things, where you get to see who she really is. Because remember, if you got yourself a really good girl with integrity, with loyalty, who generally loves and cares for you, if you lose your job, she's going to understand that shit happens, and she's going to have your back anyway and support you and helping you get back on your feet and all that. And if you're, say, living together, or maybe you're married at this point, or just simply you're dating, and, that means, you can't go out to eat as often, you have to cut back on some of your dates or something like that, maybe you skip a vacation, she's going to be cool with that because she'll realize you're working on the plan to get back on track, and she understands it happens, and she'll maybe help you out. But, you'll know with the ones that aren't so good, aren't so loyal, don't have the integrity, that the second things start going not according to plan, like a job loss, or you can't take her out as much, and she's all of a sudden getting bitchy and attitude and, cheats on you or kicks you to the curb, that shows you who she is. This is why you take years getting to know her before you get real serious with them, making the major commitments like engagement or marriage, or moving in with them. I can't stress that enough, as well as many other important lessons in this story. He says, "Dear SSM, I hope this message finds you well. My name is Z, and I'm reaching out to you from Africa." He actually says what country he is from Africa, but he asked me to keep it anonymous, therefore I won't say where in Africa. Not that people from Africa or his country probably are going to figure out who he is, but I respect people's wishes who write their stories in. Anyhow, I would like to express my gratitude for your channel, which has had profound impact globally. I wish to share my personal story with you. At the age of 25, I encountered a nurse at a pharmacy. Uh-oh. So, gentlemen, let's see if the stereotype about nurses is the same in his country in Africa as it is here in the Western world. Let's see. Initially, she seemed to be kind. She appeared to be kind, and we quickly found common ground, sharing many aspects of our lives. However, after a few months, I was reassigned to a different district by my supervisor at the pharmaceutical company where I worked as a sales representative. In April of 2022, she joined me in that district, and we began living together. Smack! 2 years? No. Way too soon. I don't care if you're over in Africa. Too soon to move in with your girl. And you're going to see I'm right. The first 3 months were wonderful. Well, that's usually how it goes. But then my country manager began to treat me poorly, and I stopped receiving my weekly allowance. During this challenging time, I had also applied for my master's program in model-informed drug development. As my work situation deteriorated, our relationship began to suffer. She started displaying negative behavior, arguing with me despite my efforts to remain kind. In other words, you're not bringing in the money that you used to. Things aren't going so well with your job, and in her mind, this is not what I signed up for. So therefore, bullshit begins. Sounds a lot like the crap that happens in the West, which proves wherever you are in the world, men and women are the same. When I returned to my original city for job interviews, her behavior became increasingly peculiar.
She began bringing me food, which was unusual for her, and expressed a desire to quit her job and move back to where she was from. Shortly thereafter, she took a HCG pregnancy test and informed me that she was pregnant, which initially brought me joy. I don't know, it wouldn't bring me joy, but, then again, I'm different. So here's a question. During the time when she was displeased with you and all that, we all have to ask and wonder, given the fact that she's a nurse, and that stereotype, is this your kid? Well, better do a paternity test. However, when I later inquired via text about my paternity, she was evasive. Oh, imagine that. Upon my return from the interviews, she admitted to having cheated on me. No. A nurse? No. Now, some people may say, SSM, you're a little harsh on nurses. Well, if you're new, there's a really strong stereotype that nurses tend to be not exactly the most loyal of girlfriends, partners, wives, whatever you want to fucking call them. I was furious and contemplated leaving immediately, but as a pro-life individual, I did not want the baby to be aborted. I chose to remain supportive until the child was born. Despite my growing depression and uncertainty about how to cope with the situation, I'd already enrolled in my master's program, but struggled to focus, completing only 3 out of 5 course units due to my heavy heart. Bro, it is understandable that you're going for your master's and this whole big surprise in your life impacted your studies. You're human, But we must try as best we can as men, that even though all sorts of BS is going around us, to stay the course. But I get it, because you don't know. That's the worst part. You're not sure. You're not sure until obviously the child is born to obviously find out. I know tests can be done prior, but you're waiting until the child is born to find out officially. That's a lot of uncertainty. I'd rather know either yes or no as opposed to the uncertainty of it. In the months that followed, I discovered the MGTOW philosophy, which encouraged me to focus on my purpose and not women. Content related to MGTOW, such as that produced by Thinking Ape, has significantly contributed to my understanding that I do not need to prioritize a woman in my life. You don't. However, if you're from a culture or part of the world that's taught, or that's the usual behavior of men, it's pretty hard to shake off that bad programming. And it certainly, those around you aren't going to like that attitude. But again, women respond to guys that, well, we all know how they respond to the guys that put themselves first, behave in a manner that can be labeled as bad boy or asshole. Even though you may not be really an asshole, you're just taking care of you first. You got to take care of you first. Guys that put women first are dead last. And guys that put themselves first to women usually are first in their eyes. It's amazing. I've come to recognize my own worth as a high-value man. I began to focus on my own physical fitness by working out at the gym and dedicating myself to my own research in pharmacometrics. That's great, bro. Good for you. And if you're learning this at this age, you're light years ahead of most guys. Yes, everybody should exercise in some way. I would encourage weightlifting because you want to get your body stronger and all that, and you feel good. And frankly, a man should be strong enough to, when you get on an airplane, lift your luggage up and put it above you. I literally have seen guys struggle doing that. I kid you not, here in the States. And you feel good exercising, and it makes you feel better, more in a resourceful state, and you want to keep your butt in shape. And good for you for focusing on your career. Good for you. So after the birth of my child, I conducted a DNA test which confirmed my paternity. Okay, child's yours. Congratulations, Papa. I knew you were initially happy. Well, guess what? So what's going to happen to the nurse? Following this, I ceased communication with the mother, informing her that any matters concerning our daughter should be addressed via email. She reacted with anger, accusing me of indifference and claiming that despite giving me a daughter, I seemed to care little for her. Well, why would you care for her at this point? She was your girlfriend. When things became difficult, as things happen in life with your job, she immediately started behaving different, drama and bullshit, you pointed that out, and surprise, she was cheating on you. Now, the daughter's yours, so, some guys would be like, oh shit, that sucks, but other guys are like, okay, because this guy seemed happy initially when he found that a child was on the way. But okay, you got a daughter. Just because you have a daughter doesn't mean you got to be married to her, but maybe in your culture where you're from, that's what you're supposed to do. Well, the hell with that. Too bad for her. She ruined the relationship. Tough shit. Watch this. As I concentrated on my academic pursuits, I gained recognition from prominent research institutions in my country and received invitations to speak at their conferences. There you go, my man. Look what happens when you focus on your grind. And I might add, this is also a challenge when you have a little baby. My elder brother began to promote my achievements through flyers. The mother of my child expressed to my friends that she regretted her past decisions and claimed to have worked on herself, stating she would do anything to mend their relationship. Well, isn't that interesting? She's now suddenly willing to want to mend the relationship, and she's working on herself when you are moving up in the world. I bet you if you were, weren't moving up in the world or were still struggling, she wouldn't be trying to mend the relationship, but now she sees you as the prize. And of course, she's now a single MOM, and I don't see many guys lining up to take care of her. However, I consistently redirected the conversation towards my plans to pursue a PhD. Your channel has helped me realize that I am an 8 out of 10 and that I had previously settled for someone who was a 5. While I cherish my beautiful daughter and I wish to care for her, I have no desire to engage with her mother. Good, because I'd be flying over to Africa and smacking the shit out of you if you were going to engage with the mother beyond simple handling of your daughter. Again, I don't know how things are in your culture where you are. Maybe that's a big no-no. I don't know. But you're over here in the States. The way things used to be, guys, and I'm sure many of you guys are aware of this, particularly you older guys there, that if your girl got pregnant, and indeed it's your child, even if it wasn't your child back in the day, you married her. End of fucking story. Usually if it wasn't, even if it was up for debate, if it was your kid. Certainly if it was your kid. Nowadays, no. More guys are waking up to realize that's a terrible idea. And it is. Especially when someone you can't trust. The mother has conveyed to my friends that I now regard her as insignificant and has expressed her disdain for the way I look at her, revealing her feelings of resentment and jealousy, particularly regarding my potential romantic interest. Shocker, you're a man moving up in the world, your prime is just getting started, and her prime, and now because she couldn't get you back the way she thought she could, now she's going to hate on you and talk shit to your friends and all that. And if your friends or anybody else take her side, then you know they are no longer your friends. Your channel has been instrumental in helping me focus on my goals, and I'm planning to enroll in a PhD program in drug development next year, having recently completed my master's degree. Congratulations, brother. Good for you. I'm going to guess probably, given your part of the world and how things are, it won't be as expensive to get your PhD there as it is over here. And it'll be worth your while, your investment of your money and your time and all that. So good for you, brother. I'm proud of you. Over the past few months, I met a wonderful young woman who's pursuing a Bachelor of Science in Medicine and Surgery. Well, you really like these women in the medical field. Well, be careful. I'm going to come back to that. She generally cares for me and even purchases books that I enjoy reading. Although I feel somewhat jaded and hesitant about relationships, this young woman is kind and values me. Well, that's wonderful and all, but just like your mother of your baby, who's the nurse, you saw what happened when things started getting challenging for you with the job and everything. So this future doctor here, let's be honest, that's what she is, a future doctor. If things become challenging for you and you lose your job, you think she's going to be as loving and loyal and supportive and all that. She sees you're a guy on the rise, going for the PhD. I'm sure that's an attractive quality. Let's be honest. Professionals like to stick with professionals. So be it, fair enough. But would she love you just as much and be just as good to you and chasing after you if you stuck at the job you had prior to this? I'd like to know. My ex-partner is filled with resentment and jealousy as she perceives that she has lost a valuable opportunity. Well, she did. I've come to the realization that I'm only 27 years old and have yet to reach my full potential. In case you need clarification on any matters, I'm ready to do the needful and work according to your script. Thanks for saving men all over the world and helping them get better. Well, I'm not saving men. I'm helping guys save themselves. That's as much as I can do. I can do videos based on stories that guys write in, or cover the occasional news article, or respond to questions, and I can say things I hope will encourage and motivate you guys. But at the end of the day, the ones that make the effort for change is all you guys. So for you, bro, who's making the change in your life and going for your ambitions and shooting for the stars, that's because of you. So I'm proud of you, man. That's awesome. And for any of you other guys out there that are doing the same thing, I can only go so far, but you guys are doing the work, so that's awesome. But before I wrap this up, let me review a few things. So guys, what do we have here in this story? He's with his girl, the nurse. Thought he had a good thing going, and things started going bad with his career, his job, temporarily, of course, because it's not always forever. And he saw how her behavior changed. The attitude and the fighting and that, and then finding out that she cheated on him. Shocker. Everything's great until your income starts dwindling. But guess what? Guys are going to fix shit, as this guy did, and look what happened. Now he has a new girl. And of course, the old girl's jealous and pissed off because she blew her opportunity, because she's blowing somebody else. And now she's hating on him with his friends and all that. Well, tough shit, asshole. But now he's a new girl, and she is on her way to becoming a doctor. And okay, great, good for her. I'm all for high-achieving people going for their goals, man or woman. But be aware, bro, that while you're thinking she's so amazing, what happened last time? And I say this to all you guys out there, because a lot of guys will have a bad situation happen, and then they'll be like, I'm done with relationships and all that forever. Then they meet a pretty girl, and she treats him like the king, and he's thinking, maybe I'll forget that no relationship thing, or this girl's different, and let down my guard. And then they get burned. So don't let your guard down with this one, man, because I question, would she be after you if you weren't going for the PhD or a man on the rise? She could be a great girl. I certainly hope that you deserve that. You earned that after this shit you had this first go around. But I caution you, just be on your guard. Pay attention to the red flags. Keep putting you first. Can't stress that enough. And even though I'm sure you're thinking I'd love to have a mother here for the child, you never know. She may be great with your daughter now, but then later on, if you got real serious and thought about marriage, all of a sudden she wants her own kids. It happens. You know the stories of the wicked stepmothers. I don't mean to rain on your parade, but I got to be real with you. Otherwise, I don't want you to be in another bad situation. Just be careful with that, but keep doing what you're doing now. Don't stop that, and you'll be pursued and treated like the king. Because the second you stop acting like the king, or God forbid, lose your job temporarily, and the income dwindles a bit, then you start to see the true colors. A really good woman who truly is loyal and has good quality and integrity, even if her guy loses his job, she's not going to treat him any differently. She knows he's a great guy. She loves him. He'll get things fixed. If you're living together or married, and okay, maybe you got to tighten your budget up a little bit, maybe go out to eat a little bit less, or cut back on some things temporarily until the guy gets the new job, fixes the situation. That's what a loyal and good woman will do. But the women that aren't loyal, the second the money stops coming in, all of a sudden it's drama and bullshit, and they're cheating on you, and there you go. So the nurse, clearly not a good woman. The real test would be with this woman here. What would happen? You come home and say you lost your job, or you come home and say, you know what, I'm not going to go for that PhD. I'd like to see what would happen if she'd stick around. Hey, women test guys, so occasionally man has the right to test the girl to see, her integrity, her loyalty. But anyhow, bro, good for you. I'm glad you're doing well, and you have proven through your story that the same crap happens on the other side of the world over in Africa as it does over here. So I wish you all the best, bro, and keep on keeping on. All right, guys, that is it for today. Be sure to comment down below. Let me know what you think about this. Be sure to like the video, share with your friends, and subscribe. I'll catch you next time.